Hey everybody, Hardtekticon is back, and I am bringing you part 2 of Hardtekticon's Planet X collection, Robot Mode. And obviously these are Fall of Cybertron figures, but not the ones we're wanting to look at. So let's bring out the good ones! Alright, so welcome back to part 2 of Hardtekticon's Planet X collection, where we're going to be checking out the robot modes of what is probably the best third-party company for Transformer figures ever. Even though they're not really Transformers when they're third-party, they're whatever. So, last time we went from the very first one that came out, which I didn't have, the first one that I had that came out, to the most recent one that has come out that I own. And the very first one that came out was their version of Omega Supreme from the Fall of Cybertron game. And it was a really massive figure, and it was about $400, which was their first figure. And it looked cool, but I did not have $400 to spend on a single figure, nor did I want to take that risk of buying a third-party company's first figure for $400. So, when they came out with their second figure, along the same time that Hasbro was coming out with their Fall of Cybertron line of figures, which were okay. This one was okay at least. The Optimus Prime wasn't so okay. Planet X started coming out with their take on the Fall of Cybertron Dinobots, starting out with the little guy, yes, Swoop, who they called Caelus, if I am saying it right. It's a little off, there we go. But yeah, this is their take on Fall of Cybertron Swoop. And it looks really, really cool. Now I got his wingspan kind of shortened up here, but let's spread out that wingspan. Show off his cool missiles that come with him. They plug into his wings. He also has the two cool swords. And this is the only figure whose melee battle weapon did not come in a transparent color. For the Dinobots it was red. Once they got to the second Dinobot, they fixed that, but these are solid. If you got their Triton, which was their take on paddles, he actually came with a bonus of transparent red swords like these to give to Swoop. Unfortunately, that is not one that I have yet, and so therefore it's not going to be in the video. But let's get back to Swoop. Take a look at his head sculpt, which is basic but pretty freaking cool. See if we can get in there with some light. Now he does have a masked face and that cool blue visor, and he's got that fin on his back of his head. So pretty cool. His swords, for a figure his size, wow, they're tight, are pretty cool. So that's a sword. And he has all kinds of articulation. We're really not going to get into full articulation in this video because I've reviewed at least every third figure, and there's lots of other reviews out there for these great figures. Quick note, that is a excuse me, that is a repro label sticker, so none of these figures actually come with Autobot or Decepticon insignias. But yeah, Swoop's a great character, especially for their first small, or at least not Titan class release. There's a back of him. One thing Planet X is known for is sharp parts, and these are sharp. I mean, if you just try and stab somebody in the eye with one of these, well, they'd be blind in that eye. They are very sharp, and they catch me, and they come off kind of easily. That way they're not broken off by accident, so my skin catches on them, and they pop off. Just gotta pop them back on. No big deal. But those wings are pretty cool on him. He does have some more ports on the backs of his forearms there, in case you wanted to put the missiles there. But it does take up a lot of his back of the arm room for his wings. You have to kind of fold up his wings in that mode. So yeah, that is Swoop, otherwise known as PX02 Caelus. Now the next one to come out, and I said this in the alt modes video, but I'm going to say it again. And real quick, this is PX03 Neptune, aka Fall of Cybertron Dinobot Sludge. But throughout the Dinobots, each figure got just a little bit better, but noticeably a little bit better. But despite the fact this being only their third figure, their second Dinobot, he's still probably my favorite of all the Dinobots that I've got, besides a later one, which we'll get into. But he is very big and chunky. I like doing this with the Dinobots because they're so big and chunky. And they're pretty hefty. Look at that hammer. Boing, boing. But yeah, he comes with 2 hammers that he holds with this giant frickin' paws right here. Let's take one out and take a look at it. Alright, hammer time. You gotta say it. And this is where they started using the transparent plastic in red this time. And pretty solid piece too. I'm pretty sure it's one piece, never been able to separate it. But yeah, pretty cool. He also comes with 2 of these guns. They don't look awesome hanging off his shoulders, but they do look pretty awesome. Now actually, since the Dinobots have so many weapons and don't always look cool holding all of them, I've given some of the weapons to some of the, just War for Cybertron, or no, that's Fall of Cybertron jazz. And here we have War for Cybertron Bumblebee, which he normally gets a second hammer. And Sludge gets 1 hammer, and I take the guns, and I just recently figured this out, and I think it looks pretty cool. Put 1 on this part on the inside of his arm, and 1 on the other side. So it's got this double shotgun rifle thing going, which with his melee hammer I think looks pretty cool. So yeah. Really off. There we go. He is he's the second biggest one besides Grimlock, so he is pretty big. But yeah, I think that looks pretty darn cool. So yeah. He's got a pretty silvery face sculpt here. Let's see if we can get it on camera. Zoom, I say, geez. There we go, there's a Sludge face. Neptune. He's got that big old barrel chest. Again, repro label symbol right there. Great figure, a lot of fun. A mild challenge to transform, if you haven't transformed them in a while. There we go. And also his little tail pieces, you could also put them like this. But I think the way I had it bulks him out a little better. And this makes his backpack a little too deep, along with his barrel chest. But to each his own. Fix it back the way I had it. I've always liked it best that way. So there is Sludge, aka Neptune. Next we have Quirinus. Oh, I left the hammer on the ground. Who is their take on Fall of Cybertron Snarl. There we go. Never hammer back on B. So yeah, here is Snarl, the Stegosaurus. His feet are a little loose, so he gets a little wonky sometimes. But beyond that, he's a pretty cool figure. And his arms are really tight. You hear that? Really tight. But I love the way his tail transformed into his backpack thing there. The spikes. And I probably, whoop, see, his feet are a little wonky. But yeah, you could have it flat out like it just made itself do. Stupid wonky feet. You can have it flat out like that, or you can kind of do it like that, which I like to do on its own sometimes. Either way, it looks pretty cool. And he is definitely cool looking. He's got all those spines going down his legs even. He comes with 2 swords and 2 guns. Here's a quick look at the gun. Pretty cool looking. These 2 guns I actually normally give to War for Cybertron Hasbro Cliff Jumper, because he just looks really cool with these guns in his hands. And he comes with these swords, which I'm not super crazy about these swords, and the main reason is this. This is the part he can hold, but all this he can't hold. So when he holds them, it looks like this. Almost like he's holding it at the tip of the handle. It doesn't quite look right, but beyond that, they're pretty cool. Pretty cool. And just for fun, since these videos are mainly about fun, let's pull out Cliff Jumper to show you what it looks like with those guns. Definitely doesn't look like just a Bumblebee repaint when he has these guns. Let's get him in his little floppy hands. This Cliff Jumper is kind of small, but he is a pretty tough little Tabasco sauce. Yeah. Little guy or not, I would not want to mess with that. So there we got War for Cybertron Cliff Jumper, but that's not what it's about. It's about this Planet X figure. Again, Autobot Signia from Repro Labels. Take a look at his face sculpt. Again, pretty silvery, but very detailed. Kind of a smoosh face. But still, lots of detail, blue eyes. Eyes are painted in, yeah. No, they're light piped. They're light piped. They just don't catch the light good enough. So, that was Snarl. Alright, next up. Next one that came out. Put him back. Was a lot of people's favorite. Not particularly mine. Not that I don't like him, but he's just not my favorite. Oh, and I didn't give his gun back. Is Fall of Cybertron Slug, or Slag, depending on how old you are and what party you're from. But it is Planet X's Quirinus. I'm doing my best to pronounce these names right. I don't know if I am or not, but so sue me or something. But he comes with 4 weapons. 2 of them are a little more unique. Let's go ahead and take a look at the gun real quick since I got it loose. Here is his gun, which he has 2 of. Has a scope on top, but it somehow looks like a flamethrower to me. Yeah, that's his gun. A little bit of red striping right there. And the cool weapon are his swords, because his swords, ow! Oh yeah, and this guy is sharp. Very sharp. His swords come with sheaths that attach at the thigh. Right there. And they click in pretty good. So now he can hold both his guns without having to store his swords like up in his shoulders or something weird and awkward. No, like I said, this guy is incredibly spiky. His little shoulder spikes right here are pretty spiky, but what really gets me, that's spiky too, are these spikes on the bottom of his forearm right here are super sharp. Oh. Let's get his little sword back on his thigh. Oh crap. No, I just knocked off the other one. Now, fun little fact. Here is the normal 5mm peg to put in normal storage, and this is a tiny little peg to plug it into the top. Ow! Just stabbed myself with a really sharp sword. To plug it into his thigh. Other side. There we go. They stay in pretty good, but not perfectly. You can imagine it's kind of a jostled around area. Cool thing, his horns, you can put them where you want, however you want, and so on. Let's take a quick look at his face sculpt, which is a little hard because of this yellow toothy thing right here. Turn a little to the side. Kind of cheat. There's his face. Got big, bright red eyes, which I think is cool. Kind of breaks up all those blue eyes. Definitely some light piping going on there. So yeah, oh, here's another incredibly sharp part of these knee pads. But I don't think anything called a pad should be able to penetrate skin easily. And those can definitely do it. So yeah, that's our fun little angry dino Slug, aka PX05 Quirinus, and to the big bad boss boy, Grimlock. Time to raise the camera up for this one. There we go. And maybe even back off a little. Get the sword out from his face. Back him up, and there we go. Here is Fall of Cybertron Grimlock, aka PX06 Vulcan. And he is definitely a big improvement from the one Dinobot that Hasbro gave us, Fall of Cybertron Voyager Grimlock. This guy is right in between a Voyager and a Leader. Now, I don't know if you saw that, but he does have pretty good light piping. It's not showing up as well on the camera, but it's working pretty well to my eyes. But he is a very, let me do this again, very massive figure. There we go, let me straighten his legs back up. And he's got quite a bit of articulation. He can do quite a bit. Lots of different options for him. He comes with this big old sword. He only comes with 2 weapons instead of 4 or 8 or whatever. I would not have minded a classic style Grimlock double barrel rifle or gun with him. That would have been pretty cool. But not really complaining. First of all is the same sword that came with him with the Hasbro version of him, just upscaled and a lot thicker and heavier. Plus it has this whole thing, a closed handle, and you just open it up like that on a little hinge. See? Womp, womp. That way you can put it into his hand without problem. These parts are really sharp. Point of this is really sharp. But yeah, I'm going to say 1.5 to 2 times, closer to 2 times bigger than the original. And then we have his shield, which is 3 times bigger at least. I mean, look how big it is just up against him. And like I said, this guy is bigger than a Voyager. Halfway between a Voyager and a Leader. Hold your shield. There. You see how big it is. It is ridiculously big. So really, I wish they would have just doubled the size of the shield from the Hasbro version, but this is still cool, I guess. It's very heavy. And he has this neat feature where you can take his sword and plug it right in there. So you only have to store 1 piece. So that's pretty neat. take a look at his face sculpt and his big glowing red eye visor. There we go. Kind of dark, but it's a higher quality version of the Fall of Cybertron Grimlock Hasbro head. But much better. Kind of spiky up here. Cool. You can see the light piping working a little better there. Yeah, and there is Fall of Cybertron Grimlock. This one almost didn't happen. The original plan was to just make a bunch of really good Dinobots to go with Fall of Cybertron Grimlock. But then the Planet X kind of went out to the fans, and I think we had the first three, Swoop, Sludge, and Snarl, when they asked the fans, do you want an actual Planet X Grimlock to go with your set, or are you happy with the Hasbro? And everybody was like, yes, yes, Planet X Grimlock. And I guess it wasn't a bad gamble, because they technically made 3 different Fall of Cybertron Grimlocks. That the one I just showed you, a chrome version, and they did a Fire Blast version. And if Sludge isn't my favorite Dinobot of this group, Fire Blast Grimlock is. If it was just between Sludge and Grimlock, one or the other, I'd have to say Sludge, but I just love and adore the paint scheme on this. Now, real quick, I did make him a Decepticon. Right there. It's also on his Dino Nose. Where'd you go, Dino Nose? Right there. But yeah. I kind of, whoa! Even though I have no Fall of Cybertron Grimlock, because I definitely couldn't display the Hasbro Shockwave. I just said, I don't have a Fall of Cybertron Shockwave because the Hasbro Shockwave was just so wimpy and skinny. It was like, you'd expect him to turn into a stick bug. But I imagine that Shockwave, after he lost all his kidnapped Dinobots from the Lightning Strike Coalition, he decided to take all that leftover stuff and make an angrier, probably stupider version of Grimlock. Which, since he's also a bit of an homage to the Terrorcon Doomlock from Transformers Energon, I call him Doomlock. So I have a Grimlock and I have a Doomlock. And he's got fire powers. And he is just freaking gorgeous. I love the green transparent plastic. In case you don't know me too well, I'm not big on transparent colors that are similar to urine. And that is similar to some bad urine. But either way, it's still cool. It's the same exact sword, same exact shield. Just everything is in a different, way cooler looking color. The parts that were black on Grimlock, for the most part, are a kind of brown or burnt red color. Here's his noggin. Yeah. Shows up even better than Grimlock's because his was black. And those awesome green eyes. The red on this is so rich, I just want to put it on some spaghetti or something. So yes, I have big feelings about this. And if I could only have one Grimlock, I would keep this one and make him just the overpowered version of Grimlock being the leader of the Dinobots. So, that is all of our Dinobotage. We do have one more beast coming up. But for now, let's get on to the rest of the non-Dinobot Transformers. Alright, so for our first non-Titan or non-Dinobot Autobot that we got, they kind of chose of a out of left field one. We got a Fall of Cybertron version of Perceptor. They call him Ascleplus. And I believe I heard that was something about a god of healing or something, which makes sense. I mean, he's not a doctor, but he sure can fix some people up. Now, he's not standing like I really want him to. Okay, there, kinda. But yeah, and this has got to be the most heavily armed Planet X figure to ever come out. Now, first of all, we got in his backpack, plugged into his back, his sniper rifle, which does extend. It's pretty big. I mean, because Asclepius is not short. He is definitely an easy Voyager. There we go. I think I can pull him up a little closer. There we go. So yeah, he has his sniper rifle. Now he's got these two little pistols on his sides. There we go. They look like this. And you're probably wondering what's up with this little angled port or plug. You use those and you plug them on the side of the sniper rifle. For a little sniper stand. So now it sits all by itself. Very cool. In addition, he's got these giant things on his arms, this is how I normally have them displayed, with this giant gun things. We just unplug it right here, pull his hand out of this section right there, and yeah, you got these things. I mean, that just does not look friendly. Normal mode or for alt mode, I normally do that. But yeah, so he has a sniper rifle with a stand right here. He's got two of these giant weapons. Right here, which are huge. And of course he's got his little shoulder cannon slash inspector doodle. So yeah, whether you count his inspector doodle thing as a weapon or not, I mean, he is still very heavily armed. This is definitely Wrecker style Perceptor, not nerdy stay in the science lab all day Perceptor. And fun little thing, these things right here, they do turn. In case you missed part 1 of my Planet X collection, which was their alt modes, he does not turn into a scope. I forget what it's called right now. Shut up. But these do turn. And so does the thing right here. It doesn't do anything, they just turn. In fact, you can pull this right off, and it's just a 5mm port on top. Just plugs right back in and spins. He does have a very big ab crunch right here. It's more like a back crunch. But for the sake of war, I like his shoulder cannon like that. And I normally have these displayed, but he can hold his rifle pretty well. I'm going to take off the stand. So, just doing it on camera, I guess, huh? Oh, crap. Not doing it right. Doing stuff behind the camera is hard, guys. So, yeah. Quick showing off him holding his sniper rifle. So yeah, there's that. He's got a very Perceptor face, but again, the face sculpt does not make you think of a real sweet science guy. He looks like he's ready to kill you. He's just waiting for you to get into sights. And bam! You're gone. So yeah, there we have Fall of Cybertron Perceptor, aka Planet X Asclepius. Oh, and you know what? I didn't point out, but the Doomlock that I just done, the Fall of Cybertron Fire Blast Grimlock, he is called Hephaestus. Now that'll be up on the screen, but I want to make sure to say it, you know, just for good measure. But there was Asclepius. Move him out of the way again. and go on to our next batch of figures. I say batch like it's big, and I'm not even done collecting them. We are bringing in the Fall of Cybertron Seekers. Planet X's, starting off with Planet X's Moors, which is Fall of Cybertron Starscream. And yeah, he comes with a crown, comes right off. But yeah, that's awesome. Doesn't come with the whole coronation cape and all that, but it did come with a crown. So, cool. But he is pretty cool. Even though they have made more of the Seekers of this mold than anything, I have to say it's the weakest mold because of how easily the transformation come undone. The whole backpack is only like stuck in one part over here and the other side opposite. So it comes apart pretty easily. It might come apart as we're playing with him. But he does have a pretty cool robot mode. I don't like how big his hips are compared to his waist right here, but alien stuff, whatever. Now he does come with two rifle looking null rays. Let's take a look at one of those. Let's pull it off his arm. And this is what they look like. Got little bits of purple in there. It's kind of hard to tell in the lighting. It is a little bit dark of a purple. But yeah. And also, the handle, for some unknown reason, will go inside the gun. Like just flip into the gun. I don't understand why. But also, curiously enough, is this little slot here, almost like it's supposed to slide into something. Into like a notch. So maybe there's something Planet X isn't telling us. I'm going to plug this back into his arm. And I did it pretty good that time, but normally because of the way that that plug fits or flips in, it's hard to get into his forearm sometimes. He also comes with this cool mace, which I think should have came with Megatron instead of the Seekers. Yeah, here it is. It is transparent purple and very chunky. Actually not that spiky, which is amazing. But yeah, all the Seekers come with a mace. And they can hold all their weapons. And of course he comes with a crown. I'm going to put on my thumb. Show it to you. Thumbs up. Look how shaky it's getting. It's a weird angle that I'm doing this at. There's the back. And then fits right back on his head. Before we put it back on his head, let's take a quick look at his head sculpt. Very villainous looking, gotta say. Move this mace out of the way. Definitely a villainous looking head sculpt. Definitely Starscream looking. And just so you know. There we go. I'm Starscream. So there is Starscream, the first of the Seekers. And before you ask, or before you're assuming, nope, I do not have Thundercracker or Skywarp. The reason being is because right when I was about to get the money for them, they came out with special edition Seekers that I wanted to get first, just in case they sold out. This one I had to get special outside of Big Bad Toy Store. The only place that I could find that had them was Chosen Prime. So I got an order from them, and it was a pretty good order. Have no complaints about them. Still going to stick with Big Bad Toy Store. But yeah, pretty cool. But here is Ghost Starscream. He is made almost entirely, out of transparent plastic, giving him his ghostly look. I mean, it's hardly ghosty, but it does look pretty cool. And I love me some Ghost Starscream. So yeah, same exact mold as the one that I just showed off with normal Starscream, but it is in transparent plastic. And By the way, this one is called Somnus, Ghost of Moors. So yeah, he comes with the same rifles, or null ray rifles, whatever you want to call them, but in the same color, but in a transparent version. So yeah. He also comes with a crown, but it is in purple, which is the same color as another one you're going to be seeing soon. Next, actually. His head is mostly transparent, except for where they painted his face, but his eyes and little helmet piece are transparent. That's a little off. Look at all that transparent goodness. In addition, he's also got this cool mace. It's the only red mace that they've put out, and even the handle is transparent. So that's pretty cool. I did not pull the weapons out of his hands because of the fact that it's transparent plastic. It tends to stress a lot easier. So we're not going to mess with him too much. We're just going to enjoy the fact that he is beautiful. Alright, next up on the Seekers, let me fix his feet, is, and I got this wrong on the last video, but he is called Planet X's Senectus. Let me move this mace down so you can see his face. AKA Fall of Cybertron Sunstorm. So yeah, we got a Sunstorm. And him being the egotist that he is, he also comes with a purple crown. Same one as Ghost Starscream Somnus. So yeah, he comes with some white null ray rifles with a little bit of pink detail in them, which is a nice break. He's the only one that comes with non-dark colored rifles. They too have the flippy plug, 5mm plug, which makes it hard to get back. Oh, see, almost went, see that? Almost went all the way in. And once it goes all the way in, really hard to get out. But yeah, it makes it harder to get them in the forearms. Hey, not bad for a second try. Now he changes things up with the mace action. And has a white handle with PP yellow mace. Cool. Let's put that back in his hand. And he definitely has some striking colors with all the different colors of yellow. I don't hate yellow, I just don't think transparent yellow is great because of the PP color. And not that I'm like, trying to say let's all rid the world of PP. You gotta go when you gotta go. It's just, come on, leave the PP colors off my toys, guys. But he is very striking looking with the orange and the red and the pinks and the yellows and the whites. Some red striping there. Looking pretty cool. Let's take a look at his weird Sunstorm face. Senectifying. There's his face with the crown. You could really see his eyes. And without the crown, he's got that nice light piping. Let's see how well it shows up on the camera. Not half as good as I can actually see. If you are hearing some weird disgusting sound in the background, my cat is bathing herself. So, just excuse it. No, it's not the music. Shut up. I like my music. Y'all just have to put up with it. And yes, that is my music in case you're wondering. And finally, for my final Seeker so far, we have Ascleplus, Planet X's Ascleplus, aka Fall of Cybertron, Acid Storm. My very, very favorite Seeker of all time. Okay, got things cleared up. And he is looking really cool. I would have liked some brighter, more toxic acidic looking colors, I think that would have been cool, but they didn't quite do that. Another option I think would have been cool if they gave him his camouflage wings. That also would have been cool, but still, they didn't even have to do an acid storm, so I'm happy, not trying to complain, Planet X. I love y'all guys. So yeah, he is pretty cool. He comes with, again, the same null ray rifles we've already seen 3 times before, but the same color as Starscream's. His mace is unique in its own, and the fact that it is a black handle with the PP yellow transparent plastic. And he looks really good with 2 different shades of green, some gold, a little bit of gunmetal color, and white legs and face. He does not have a crown because he is not an egotist. He just wants to burn some stuff up through acid. So let's take a look at his face. He too has yellow eyes. They're not quite as striking as Sunstorm's, but still pretty cool. Again, very villainous looking face. Not want to face off against him. So there are all my Seekers. Next up, and just in time, Planet X decided to finally tackle Fall of Cybertron Optimus Prime. And they called him Jupiter. And here we have it. Planet X's take on Optimus Prime, the Fall of Cybertron version, not the War for Cybertron version. And this is a lot bigger than Hasbro's Fall of Cybertron version. Now, he comes pretty well weaponized. He comes with this cool sword, which I have currently stored on his forearm. And it's not coming off. There we go. And it's a pretty cool sword. Pretty cool. Nice and chunky. Transparent, sharp on the end. Good sword for Optimus Prime. And what Optimus Prime is complete without some awesome mutilating battle axe? And that looks pretty cool. And the cool thing is it's very modular. Oh, and we'll talk about that in a sec. The blades actually come off. And this whole part, the top of the axe, comes off the handle. And this piece comes off too, but it's just, then it's just kind of like a gear with holes in it. But you can actually do different stuff, like with another figure we're about to show off. I like to add this and give him like a spear or whatever you call this long sword handle type of weapon. And if you do that, you can use this part as a shield. So cool. But otherwise, Optimus Prime, he's going to keep his axe. Ooh, pretty tight. He also comes with, and this is what we got to talk about. This is one of the flaws of the figure, or the mold. It comes with this gun. Pretty cool looking. And it's supposed to just slide over his forearm with the hand put away. We're going to have to two-hand this. Looks pretty cool, right? No, it does not stay on very well. See? Oh, geez. I pushed it too far, Optimus. Yeah, he can just throw it off. And that's not cool. And I tried different ways to do it, and it just doesn't work. Now, here is another option. And this is mainly for vehicle mode. Well, we already went through vehicle mode, so go to the last video. You can grab this part and flip it around like that, which reveals a 5mm port plug you can flip out and you can hold. So let's just put it in this arm, close his hand a bit. But the problem is, it's very long then, and it's hard for him to hold properly. Pretty much have to straighten his arm out, and it's still not a great grip. See, it kind of goes against his forearm. And underslung doesn't help much at all either. Then there's always this option of just plugging it into the side of his forearm, kind of like Megatron. There we go. But it sticks out really, really, really far. So it just doesn't look like it's really part of him. So the gun is just kind of a flarp. Not great. Kind of wish they just gave him a old school Optimus Prime gun, but I guess that's not game accurate. Not even sure if the old school Optimus Prime gun was ever in the game. Which, in case you don't know, all these figures are based off of game designs. Stay on there. Whatever. Alright. But he is another really big, heavy, chunky, solid figure. And with a very, very Optimus Prime-y head sculpt here. With some really nice blue light piping. So yeah. It's very shiny. Very cool. Here's a back of him. They did a really, really good job of keeping his backpack from getting a little out of hand. It's not big at all. I think it looks cool, actually. So yeah, there is Optimus Prime, aka Planet X's Jupiter. I'd just call this series aka, huh? Alright, next up, even though this one just recently came out, let's move Ops Weapons to the side. This one just recently came out, but it is a direct repaint of Optimus. Who do you think it's going to be? Oh yeah, it's Planet X Charon, aka Nemesis Prime. And as I was showing you before, he is using the alternate weapon modes with the long handle sword and the axe shield, which is pretty cool. And you know, they got these little tailpipes in the back. The top one holds a 5mm plug, so I got this crappy gun plugged in there. See? It's kind of stupid, but like I just got done saying, I did not like the gun. So yeah, that's what it looks like plugged in the back, with the sword covering his face. But he, just by changing up the color scheme of the figure, they have made him just look evil as The Shining. He looks murderous, terrifying, and oh man, I bet even Grimlock would have trouble with this guy. But yeah, he looks very cool. His black isn't super deep black. It's almost like an incredibly dark gray or charcoal. He's got some red windows and plenty of teal. Gotta have plenty of teal. The weapons, I already showed off the weapons, so we're going to hold off on that. Whoop. Sorry, I bumped this a little, didn't I? There we go. Should be good enough. And look at his super evil Prime head sculpt. Look at that. Mean, mean. So yeah. Excuse me. Actually, in the series of things, I think he is the most recent figure to come out. But either way, I wanted to do him right after Optimus. Save some time. And all that. So, let's get on to the big, big daddy. Alright, here we have the big papa of the Planet X line. If you don't include Genesis and Gamatum, aka Omega Supreme and Omega Sentinel, we have Planet X's Apocalypse, which is their take on Fall of Cybertron Hardtekticon. And he is very big, very bulky. I had to bring the camera way back, and you're not even really seeing all of them. Because check this out. Take 2 hands for this one. Oh, jeez. Okay. He's got an ab crunch. He's got an ab crunch. It's okay. Boom! Look at that tail. Look at all that tail. Can you see it all? That's a lot of tail. And every single one of these parts is a ratchet. So, but he kind of uses it as a bit of a tripod sometimes. He doesn't have to. See, there we go. He doesn't need to use it as a tripod. But the way I have him displayed, typically he uses it as a tripod. But I don't know why, but for some reason it looks so cool curled up like that. Like sometimes a kitty's tail. Because a kitty's tail goes like that sometimes. My black my black kitty does. Not the one you were hearing looking earlier. But yes, we have fall of Cybertron Trypticon, and he is very cool. He's got his opening mouth right here with teeth. Fair warning, the teeth are fragile. I actually broke one of his canines. His top left canine. Or his top right. Top left to me. Lots of articulation. He does have his gun head under this thing. You just gotta kind of dig it out of there. Hold on, let's see. Let's get closer. See if we can dig it out. How do we get it out? Come on now. Get my old fingernail in there. Let's see. See this right here. Carefully though. Definitely don't want to break this. Come on, man. Come on. Alright, we're going to pause this real quick so I can get this thing out. Had to get a knife, but I got it out. So, here we go. Let's go ahead and do a face sculpt close-up while we're doing this. He's kind of sitting on my knee here. And I'm sure by now you can see his gun, which only took me an extra 2 minutes to get out. Oh my god, it's still freaking really good in there. There we go. Use that good old ab crunch. But when you finally get it going, there we go. It really comes out. Look at that. Now, only if it didn't look stupid. But, you know, that's Trypticon for you. He's got a gun up in his brain. So let's get this back inside somehow. There we go. And also, inside his mouth, he's got a tongue gun. See right there? Here's his tongue gun. And then reorient the light a little bit, maybe. Alright, there we go. That didn't help much, did it? But yeah, there's his tongue gun. Alright. And there is his face. Right there. And it's pretty cool, pretty vicious looking. I mean, he hardly looks like normal Trypticon anymore. But he's looking, he's definitely looking like a boss fight. Yeah, transparent yellow eyes. Very cool. He has got another face on his crotch for some reason. Let's put him back down. Readjust lighting, and there we go. Yeah, face crotch. So yeah, that's pretty weird. So many sharp points on this guy. Just so many. Handling him is like handling a handful of razor blades and tacks. Thumbtacks, that is. Like I said, he has a hand crunch, ab crunch. And he's also got lots of little ports all through him, like right here, where you can plug some lights into them, which is pretty cool. Of course, you have to have the lights turned off. Repro label symbol, of course. You can also put a light behind there. He's got these massive hands with really, really strong grips. Look at that. Ugh. And he's really, really loud when you transform him and move his ratchets. So he is a true monstrous killer beast. And definitely don't regret getting him at all. I did get normal Hasbro Trypticon too, but this one beats him. I mean, Trypticon has, Hasbro Trypticon has a great base mode that this one just can't top. And the vehicle mode's alright, but the vehicle mode on this one's great. But robot versus robot mode or kaiju versus kaiju mode, he wins out every time. Now, we are on the home stretch of this video, so let's get to our last two figures. Alright, for the last two figures that I own from Planet X, we are pulling out their take on Fall of Cybertron Ultra Magnus, aka Planet X Apollo. Yes, it is Ultra Magnus. And are you seeing something familiar? Well, if not, just give it another minute. We're going to take a look at him. He comes with two weapons. Now, I have his gun plugged into the side of his arm because his hands are those hands that all the fingers are articulated individually, and because of that, he just does not hold the gun very well. Excuse me. And these parts aren't really part of the gun, I just think it beefs it up. So we're going to put that aside for a minute. But yeah, here's his gun. There's a handle you normally use for it. If you want to plug it into something else, you use that port. He also has two ports on the side. And for some reason, the barrel can split and plug into the sides right here for this other option of a gun that has a square port in it, curiously enough. I've already tried a million different things and I cannot find anything yet. Another weapon mystery along with the Seeker's slot in the bottom of the rifles. But yeah, let's get it back to normal mode here real quick. And there it is. Now the hammer that comes with them is really short, but the way they want you to have him displayed holding it is even shorter. But I found a trick around this. Let's see. Alright. Normally you would just, well, here's a hammer real quick. It does make me think of Thor's hammer, the shortness and the bluntness of it. And those are 5mm ports right there. Just some lighting here. Is he starting to look familiar yet? But either way, he's got this square thing on the bottom. No, there's a 5mm peg down here too. So no, that does not fit into the gun. It just doesn't. But if you put it into his hand like this, he can hold it just fine. It's not going to plop out, but I mean, look at that. Really? That is not cool. Not cool at all. But here's a trick. His grip is pretty decent, so if you have him hold the square part between his two middle fingers, like so, to where his pinky and index go under and over the square part, he can hold it pretty decently. I had him holding it perfectly a minute ago. Hold up. It's that thumb. But yeah, there we go. So now he can, oh crap. Let's try this again. If I do it from this side. Still not looking familiar, guys? Whoa. There we go. Alright. Nope, come on now. I know you could do it earlier. There we go. Okay. One more time. One more stinking time. There we go. Now I got it. So yeah, just have him hold it by the square part, and it is a lot more attractive looking. So yeah, there's him holding his hammer. Now we're going to go ahead and take it out. His missile things right here can actually come off. They're plugged into 5mm pegs with 5mm ports, just in case you want some fun with that. And let's take a quick look. Oh, that was all his weapons. He does have some molded little blaster holes on the side. Take a good look at his head sculpt. Very Ultra Magnus-y, very I go by the book look, with some painted blue eyes. Big old chest. I mean, everything about this guy is just chunky. Very chunky. But in case he does not look familiar yet, what about now? And what about if I took these off right here? If I could. There we go. Looking more and more familiar, guys. Come on, come here. And even this, what the heck's up with this? It's like E.T. from that old Atari game. Oh, I've really just aged and dated myself, didn't I? So yeah, let's see what happens right here. Unpluck this from the side. Okay, it's gotta be familiar by now. What happened? Yep, this is just an Optimus Prime mold with an armor kit on. Take off these bits, these bits, these bits, these bits. And finally, the two hardest parts. Gotta pull this flap up, pull this up, and gotta work this thing off of here where the exhaust pipes normally go. And we're going to put the old style exhaust pipes back on, because they did come with that. So yeah, there we go. Plug back in. Excuse me. And same thing. Gonna unplug this right here. Gotta work it out. There we go. And from here, the only thing we got to do now is finish transforming them. So I'm going to go off camera real quick and do that, save time. And there we have it. A G1 style Naked Ultra Magnus. All white and blue with some Combiner Wars green tints here and there. From the Combiner Wars leader, that is. So yeah, it was just a white and blue Optimus Prime the whole time. Kind of feels like a Scooby-Doo moment there, doesn't it? And he can still hold his weapons. He holds them a little different. And the fact they can actually hold them, which is pretty cool. Sometimes it just makes me want to just display him. Where's his hammer? Yeah. And the hammer he holds by the very tip. Or you can have him hold it, like pop it in right here, but he can actually hold it by the very tip, so we're going to do that. There we go. And now, it doesn't look so small. Give him a little side view. Kablam, kablam, kablam. And you know, if they just wanted to be cheap about it and just give us a straight up Naked Ultra Magnus, same price as Optimus, just with the different weapons, hopefully the different weapons, I probably still would have got it. I probably would have, because this looks pretty snazzy. Let's go ahead and take a look at that face sculpt since we got it. Ready? He does not have light piping. He does have blue back here, but his eyes are painted red with a blue face mask and everything. Looks very, very, very cool. Now, why don't we pull out some more primage here. We got some Nemesis Prime. And here we got some Optimus Prime. So you can see all the differences in paint and see the similarities in mold. Plastic mold, that is. And here we have our three primes, pretty much. Let's straight up Optimus Prime. His shoulder's getting a little wacko. And one thing I've been holding off to this part of the review, let's take a look at some matrices. Yeah, each one of these guys, because they did it for Prime. Each one, you can open their chest right here. Is it on camera? Yeah. Open their chest. It's kind of hard to do. You really have some nails. Yeah, spread it open and back like this. And yes, sirree, he has a matrix of leadership. All gold and blue right there. And it is removable. Another time where you're going to need some nails and some good catching ability, because sometimes it flies out as if it was spring-loaded. Yeah. Here we have a blue gemmed gold matrix of leadership. Look at that. Do you see inside the matrix? That's what it looks like inside the matrix. Yeah, that was trippy, huh? Hope none of y'all were actually tripping. I'm inside the matrix. Oh no, how do I get out? All the knowledge. But yeah, so there is one matrix. Let's go ahead and look at Nemesis Prime's matrix of nemesicity, or matrix of evil knockoff, or I'm really not sure what this matrix would be called. I do have the matrix of malice still around my neck right here from the Transformer subscription service 5.0 or 4.0. Yeah, I wear that as a necklace. So that's a matrix of malice, and matrix malice is green gemmed with gold. And this one right here is kind of like a dark gray charcoal color with a rich ruby red stone inside. And of course it's not a stone, it's just transparent plastic, but you know, it's supposed to look like a stone. Let's see if I can get this thing out. There we go, it just dropped out. So now we have a metal and red matrix of nemesicity. Let's go back into the evil matrix. It's going to be horrifying, man. Oh, it's just red and blackness, man. Just red and blackness. So there's two matrices. That is a plural form of matrices, right? Matrices. And even though Ultra Magnus isn't supposed to have one, he almost had one back in '86, huh? Let's see here. Spread that chest open. It's like some Guyver stuff. Who likes Guyver? Japanese anime and movies? Oh, that came right out. And Ultra Magnus, that's impressive. It's just a dull gray and blue. So yeah, here we have three matrices. There we go. Oh, one just fell. That one cool. So yeah, we went through Ultra Magnus in both modes and all that. So let's put all this to the side and pull out our final figure to take a look at. Minus Charon, aka Nemesis Prime. This is a final figure that has come out. And about frickin' time too. Ouch, ouch, ouch. The spiky, ever so evil Megatron, aka Planet X Pluto. Why did they name the Scourge of the Galaxy Pluto? I really don't know. He should have been a cooler planet. I mean, we got Jupiter for Optimus Prime, so whatever. But either way, whatever. This is one bad, mean-looking Megatron. And in case you're curious, this is the Fall of Cybertron version. They didn't do the War for Cybertron version. All their figures are based on the Fall of Cybertron. And he is really impressive. Now, one thing, handling him really is like handling a handful of razor blades and thumbtacks. He is so spiky. His sword, in fact, has drawn blood on me. Actually made me bleed. Let's take a look at his spiky back. Look at all that spikage. Just ridiculous amount of spikage. Now, he comes with only two weapons, believe it or not, which he can easily wield in robot or vehicle mode. But in robot mode, he has his sword and his cannon. Let's take a look at his sword first. Now, just for fun, this part right here is actually what made me bleed. I stabbed it in my thumb really hard and it started like dripping blood, which is kind of hard for me. I don't bleed easy. But here is his sword. Really fat and thick. I kind of wanted a bit of a longer sword as opposed to such a fat one. Like, in comparison, here is Optimus Prime's sword going from the bottom. So really, I guess it's not that much shorter, just a tad. I guess it's the thickness of this area that throws me off. But yes, just this whole sword is just sharpness. It's not going to cut much, but it can stab plenty. Second of all, we've got his fusion cannon. We're not going to even take it off of him. It's supposed to be attached to him, you know. And it's really, really cool. It can come off fine. Fine, guys, I'll take it off. There we go. Now we have a naked and not very defenseless Megatron. And here is his fusion cannon. It does have this big old long port underneath that is, again, can be flipped back and forth. Don't know why. But either way, there's his cannon. Oh, and check that out. I really expected them to put one of those light things like on Trypticon in there, but they did not. But for vehicle mode, it does expand. And you can have it like that on robot mode too if you want. I just think it looks better, shorter and chunkier. You know, the same thing like I was complaining about the gun. And it just plugs into his side of his arm and keeps on trying to flip down because I'm trying to do it in front of the camera for y'all. And I think I got it in. It's in. Oh yeah. Ooh yeah, you feel that? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But yeah, that is Megatron. He looks really great. All these bits right here is transparent purple plastic right in front of non-transparent plastic, so it gives off a really, really cool effect. He does have this little, it's not a matrix obviously, but I guess like a spark chamber right there. So if you can see it better like that. Unfortunately, nothing pegs this down, but unless you're going to be flopping them upside down, I guess it doesn't have to be. But yeah, just handling this figure is slightly dangerous for your hands. Speaking of his hands being dangerous, that looks painful. He is a great figure. He's a lot of fun. Kind of like Starscream, I don't care for his thighs being so far out from his waist, but it does kind of add to the whole evil effect. Let's go ahead and get a close-up on his head. Face sculpt, head sculpt, whatever you want to sculpt. And his face is a little skinny with kind of puckery lips. I'm not crazy about that, but that is the Fall of Cybertron look. I wasn't crazy about it in the style of the video game. But that's Megatron. His eyes are painted in. His face is kind of long and chinny, but you can definitely see how this Megatron turns into the Transformers Prime Megatron. Because for those who don't know, Fall of Cybertron is actually canon with the show Transformers Prime. Prime obviously happened after Fall of Cybertron. They had a couple adventures between Cybertron and Earth, which are documented in some novels. Good reads if you want to read them. And then Transformers Prime happens. But yeah, that is Megatron, the last figure that I have from Planet X. Now let's put him back up here. Now to further recap, I do have all the figures except a few. The first one that I did not get was Genesis, their take on Omega Supreme. They also have a figure called Gamatum, which is a blue and dark silver or dark gray version of Omega Supreme. I guess it's supposed to represent an Omega Sentinel. And that is on sale right now at most places. So maybe I'll get that soon. Maybe not, who knows. I did not get the Fall of the Cybertron, Planet X, Thundercracker, and Skywarp, which is called Fatum and Quirella, if I am not mistaken. I also did not get Triton, which is their take on Paddles. He is a heavy remold of Sludge. And finally, let's throw a Starscream in the middle here. I did not get, let's see, those. I didn't get the Omegas. I did not get Triton, which is Paddles. I didn't get Thundercracker or Skywarp. Yeah, and beyond that, the only thing they have that I didn't get is the Chrome version of Grimlock and the battle damage versions of Apocalypse and Genesis, or Gamadium. So I have most of the set. I do plan on picking up Skywarp, Thundercracker, and Triton one day. And right now I do have on Big Bad Toy Store, I have the Insecticons pre-ordered. I don't remember their names, but they all come in a set, and they're supposed to be like kind of tall, scout sized. So that'll be fun to break up some of the scale. So they also plan on doing some other figures outside of the Fall of Cybertron realm. I hope that does not mean that it's going to be the end of the Fall of Cybertron line. I really don't hope that. So, but the new figure they're going to be coming out with soon after the Insecticons is going to be Death Source. So I'm still probably going to get that. I mean, that sounds pretty cool. They only shown us like a silhouette so far, but hopefully everything will be cool, and we'll still get like some Fall of Cybertron Shockwave action, maybe a Bruticus, and I really, really, really want me some Fall of Cybertron Warpath, because that would just be awesome. So, I do believe that is all I have to show off from Planet X. Of course, I got some normal Fall of Cybertron figures, but that's for another time. And I hope you enjoyed this fun adventure of my Planet X collection, because I sure did. So, until next time, this is Hardtekticon, and stay tuned for some more cool Transformer videos. See ya.